Hi.
Hey, can you
Can
hear
you
me?
hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I was testing this out earlier to make sure that my voice doesn't carry, like I don't have a microphone, so I'm doing the
yeah.
AirPod thing too, I
I
think.
think it's fine. The mic on the phone is okay.
Yeah, okay, good deal. Let's see. I know I see a bunch of people joining. But we still have 1 minute,
Chill
so
for a
I just
minute. Yeah,
yeah, I was really worried this wasn't gonna work right. So I'm glad
yeah.
this is success right here. I also have a friend who is monitoring the comments, and she's going to add them to my document.
Oh,
if
nice.
if if there's anything that she has a copy of the questions I already had you look at, and if it's something that isn't on the list and isn't marked out, then if we have time later, we may be able to add more questions.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Okay, well, it's 7 now. Um, so I have a little intro. I think most people know who both of us are since they're here. But I'm Jordan. I'm Juliet Fox Reeds. And I'm chatting with Rachel Reid, one of my favorite authors. We're mostly going to be talking about the books and writing because there's a lot of stuff you can't answer about the show, but we do have a few show questions. Um, so I think most of you know Rachel best for the Game Changer series, but she also has two standalone hockey romances, The Shots You Take and Time to Shine, that are also amazing. And thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. I'm really thrilled that you agreed to do it, and I'm excited that one, we can chat again, and that we can record this so other people can watch as well, because we did one for us, group read that I did on Discord a few months ago, but it was a lot smaller. So some notes before I get into the Q&A. I've been soliciting reader questions a few different times, and Rachel's reviewed a list of the questions. Um, if your question doesn't come up, there's likely a reason that it was skipped. I already said that there's a lot of things Rachel can't say about the show right now. So just be patient. There's stuff coming. And I told you about the additional questions. A friend is watching the comments because I can't pay attention to them while I'm talking. And if we have time at the end, we'll add them. Okay, let's start. So first we will talk about the book, or books. We have a few questions about some things other than Heated Rivalry, but if you could first tell us how the Game Changer series came to be. Like, where did you get the idea? How did you start?
Sure. So it started just with the idea for Game Changer. I really thought that was going to be my only book. It was just an idea I'd had for a long time. I wrote it, I wrote it. It was sitting on my, my whatever, my Google Drive or whatever forever. Um, and I didn't know what to do with it because I had no confidence, that I'd never let anybody read fiction that I'd written
Mhm.
before. So I, yeah, I just needed time to be brave enough to send that to a publisher. So I did. And then I got the idea for Heated Rivalry while I was waiting because publishing is very slow. It takes, like a year sometimes to hear back from a publisher.
Right.
So while I was waiting, I started writing Heated Rivalry, which I really enjoyed right off the bat. And that was going to be another standalone. But then, eventually it just kind of like worked as a series. At first, I didn't think it would because I was like, well, Scott Hunter is established as the best player in the league. So, like, why would there be two more? But then I was like,
Right.
well, the real league is actually like that. So I
Yeah.
shouldn't worry about it too much. So it's everyone's opinion who the best player is. So, yeah. So it's just one book became two. And then from there, it was like, oh, I want this character to have a book now. I want this character to have a book now. So just kind of happened that way. It was not planned. Like I did not have a huge arc that I planned out or anything like that.
Oh,
Just
wow.
each book one at a time.
So you just like sold them as one came out. You had an idea for another and you sold the next.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually, by the time I heard back from publishers, about Game Changer, I had quite a bit of Heated Rivalry written, so I was like, I also have this other book. So I sent like the first few chapters, and then I got a 2-book contract. So yeah, and then after that, it was kind of like a 1 book for Tough Guy, and then another 2-book, and then I can't remember. Oh, Long Game was a 2-book as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Um, that kind of answers my second question too. A lot of people wanted to know, do you have any particular people who inspired Shane and Ilya?
Yeah, no, like I never based my characters on any particular like real hockey player or anyone. Everyone's an amalgam of, there's certainly some like obviously Ilya and Shane's rivalry was like like heavily influenced by the rivalry between Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin at its peak,
Right.
because in my lifetime I can't remember a rivalry that was like that. It was really intense and fun. But there have been other rivalries. I've been watching hockey since I was, in elementary school, so um, I've seen a lot. I know I've mentioned before too that the friendship between Paul Kariya and Timo Solane, which is more of like in the early 2000s, that was an influence as well because I always really enjoyed their kind of odd couple friendship of one of them
Mhm.
being really flashy and like into sports cars, and the other one being, just a very good, just a very good boy. So I like that. So yeah, definitely that was an influence. But yeah, I would never base one of my characters directly on a real person.
That's fair. Probably best. Um, who was easier to write, Shane or Ilya?
I think I have an easier time writing from Shane's point of view, but I love writing Ilya's dialogue.
Hmm.
But I think what I mostly like writing is our other characters reacting to
Oh,
Ilya.
yeah.
So yeah, that's like the most fun. So I guess for that reason, Shane's a little easier to write. Like if I'm writing from his point of view.
Hmm. That makes sense. Okay, this was an interesting question. What little secrets did you hide in Heated Rivalry that you didn't expect people to find? Anything like
I
that?
don't know about like secrets, but I mean, generally, I want to say I've blown away over the 6 years since that book's been out of everything that people have noticed and analyzed. I mean, when you write books like this, you expect, someone's going to read it quickly and then like chuck it aside and pick up the next,
Right.
hockey romance or any kind of romance, whatever. It's not something you expect to be like,
A
yeah, analyzed in the way that it
phenomenon.
has
Yeah.
been, which is it's really flattering and really, really cool. But um, as far as something that people noticed that I was surprised or pleased that they noticed was the just little hints that Ilya might be depressed.
Yeah.
So Ilya's mental health being like just I tried to keep it pretty subtle in Heated
Hmm.
Rivalry, and obviously it's not subtle at all in the long
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
but yeah, that enough people noticed that I felt that I could write the sequel where dealing a lot with that. Um,
Okay.
that was that was
Yeah.
cool.
That's cool. Okay. This is another good one that I like. Ilya always wonders about Shane's house and what it looks like. What about Ilya's Boston condo? What does it look like? We don't know.
Great question. One of my regrets about Heated Rivalry was that I didn't really, yeah, I'd spend a lot of time in Boston. Didn't
Yeah.
really describe a lot of anything that would happen in Boston. Um, but yeah, I mean, I generally just pictured it being like, if you look up any NHL players
The crazy
home,
penthouse
especially
deal.
the single ones,
Hmm.
or the ones who live with like another hockey player, it's flashy and
Yeah.
tacky. And I mean, it's also usually under decorated, under furnished. They're
Hmm.
not home very often. And yeah, that's kind of how I pictured it. Like maybe not a lot on the walls, but like really nice furniture.
You're right.
Um, yeah, like some rich guy touches. But yeah, and I pictured it having a lot of windows, view of the harbor. Um, everything's pretty sleek.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, generally I didn't focus much on Ilya's home because the book was more about Ilya looking for a home.
Right.
So um, and that theme continues later, but like, yeah, it was more Shane's homes that were important.
Right. Okay. Um, all right. Was Ilya always supposed to be a big softie on the inside, or did you have any other character arc while developing the story? And this person makes the point that because Russian men with childhood trauma tend to have toxic masculinity arcs in other
Yeah.
books.
No, I wanted to write a Russian character that was like a little different from some of the others I'd read in romance novels and, seen on TV and seen in movies. Yeah, no, definitely he was always supposed to be a softie, and I tried to, hint at that a bit in Game Changer even, especially at the end of it.
Right.
Um, but he's not.
He's a
He
secret.
puts up a front,
Right. Secret softie.
secretly
Um,
sad.
right. Um, why did you decide for Shane to lack support and Ilya having friends knowing about them?
Yeah, I think that was an important flaw to give Shane. He, you know, I think it's very kind of he has a lot of anxiety about things he's not in control of,
Hmm.
and I think for him it was like okay, we can tell my parents, we can tell my best friend, we can tell my other friend, but
Right.
like the idea of Ilya telling teammates or people that maybe because maybe Ilya didn't have like a best friend on the team, so Shane didn't
Right.
see it like somebody that you could bring into the circle. Um, but yeah, to me, Shane had to be like a little bit selfish that way in order to make the conflict work in the long game. So that's Shane's big flaw. His life seemed pretty good, so he didn't see any reason to change
That up.
it.
Right. All right. In the long game, was there originally going to be more time between the almost plane crash and the proposal? These are spoilers. I hope everyone's read
Yeah,
the
sorry everyone.
book.
I assume everyone here
Right.
has read both of
Yeah,
those
you would
books.
assume there's spoilers in the video.
Um, yeah, I that proposal got one of the hardest decision was where that proposal was going to go. And I think like it was a little awkward because I was like, am I really going to put it basically in the middle of the book? Like,
Right. There's
that's
so much
weird,
book
right?
after that.
There's
Yeah.
so much book after it. And I was like, but I did it to me, it made, I mean, the reason why I had Ilya not show up at that practice in role model, like it's mentioned in role model, like I knew then, I was like, this is like, I think this is where I'm gonna have Shane propose to him. But I left it vague enough that I could change my mind on that.
Hmm.
But I think it was the right place for it. I definitely thought about having it be closer to the end of the season, but no, I felt okay about it. I think like I liked the idea of Shane just like panicking.
Like, oh
I
no,
mean,
I've
maybe
got
it's
to
not the
propose.
most romantic to just be like,
It's very Shane.
yeah, exactly. It's actually not even a good idea, but
Right. No, but it's something he would do.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, okay. I do have some like hypothetical questions that if you want to answer.
I'll do my best.
Um, if Shane and Ilya weren't outed, how would you have made their relationship be made public, or how would have they done it? Would they have done like a social media type relationship reveal, press conference? And then this person also how high was Shane's blood pressure?
Just in general, all the
Just in
time.
general, yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that having them be outed was a really tough decision too, and it was one that I knew pretty early on while writing the book had to happen, and I talked about it with uh, my agent. And I remember early on, I was like, I think they need to be outed, and she said, oh yeah, they definitely do because that's like there's always been this dagger hanging over them, and
Right.
it kind of needs to fall. But I decided I definitely didn't want them to be outed maliciously.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted it to be almost ridiculous, which I like after
Wow.
all of the decade of hiding, it's like the most ridiculous way. And I wanted it to be Hayden's fault, and I also wanted Ilya to be the first one to forgive Hayden
Mm-hmm.
for it. Like that was all part of my plan, but as far as what was the question? Oh,
If they hadn't been
if they
outed,
had, if that,
how
if
would
I
it have?
hadn't done any of
Yeah.
that, yeah. So I did have another idea, and I think it was just going to be okay. I'll tell you two ideas I had. One was when I didn't think I was going to get to write the long game,
Hmm.
so I was going to have Shane and Ilya come out in the, if you can believe it, in the epilogue of Common Goal, where they gonna like come out on the day of Scott Hunter's wedding, like just post something on Instagram.
And ruin Scott Hunter's wedding. Yeah.
Basically, everyone at the wedding is like talking about that. Um, but I didn't do that because that's ridiculous. And I still really did want to write the long game, so I just like decided, no, I'm gonna hold out hope, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
That would have been hard to come back from.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, so I mean, to me, I just pictured eventually doing some sort of social media post that they controlled
Yeah, that's probably
and like quick,
right.
like just
Just
quick
get it
and
out.
kind of like, yeah, probably not like a press conference or anything, just something quick.
Um, all right. I have a few role model questions.
Yay!
Yeah, wish we gotten some more. I know there were some that people are asking later on. So if we come back to it, maybe we can get role model questions. When you wrote Troy and Tough Guy, was it always your intent to write a later book about him?
No, no, he was a throwaway character,
Oh,
and I
wow.
was just like, um, you know, I I couldn't stop thinking about him. It's kind of like the same reason Kyle got a book. Like he wasn't really supposed to. I just kept thinking about him. And I got this, yeah, I got the idea when I was writing Common Goal. I was like, what if it's a Troy redemption arc? And I was like, how could I do this? And I was like, what if he goes to Ottawa? What if he goes to Ottawa and he's on the same team as Ilya and Wyatt?
Yeah.
I was like, this could be good. And what if like who's like yeah, what if there's an opposites attract thing? And yeah, so no, I didn't have the plan, but that character definitely stood out to me for whatever reason. He's barely, he's in
Right. He's just
Tough Guy so
so
little
little.
and he's not good at all. And then I kind of, once I figured out what I was doing, I wrote him into Common Goal and tried to, hint that maybe there's a little more to him than just being a bully. So
Right. Yeah.
I
Oh,
love writing
that's
Troy
my
though.
second
So
favorite. That was
yeah,
awesome.
I like role model.
Okay, another role model question. This one's very specific. Also, spoilers. In role model, Harris mentions Ilya's weird Instagram posts on his Instagram that we later learn more about in the long game. And there's a picture of a fire hydrant. What's the deal with the fire hydrant?
Regret that fire hydrant. It's authors change your placeholders. um, honestly,
You had to come up with
what I was
something really
thinking
quick.
of was I had just been to a town that all of the fire hydrants are painted like different like little people and characters and animals,
Yeah.
and I just thought like maybe Elliot saw something like that like
Yeah.
was some sort of inside joke for him and
Hmm.
Jane. And then when I wrote the long game, I really wanted to follow it up and actually mention the fire hydrant and describe it, but I couldn't come up with a single thing that was good. So I just was like, maybe I'll just ignore the fire hydrant and
Just
nobody will
pretend no
notice.
one noticed. Someone
Shame
did.
just won't scroll back that far.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was like,
So that's the little things that you that you weren't sure people were gonna notice.
yeah, so that's the things you hope people aren't going to
Right.
notice. Like, you're like, please don't
Yes.
ask me about this. Well, thanks.
Um, okay, so this was kind of cute. Someone wanted to know an actual date for Shane and Ilya's wedding, because they wanted to celebrate it. So is there a
That's
date?
really
Can you
cute.
make one up?
I think I went back and looked at I always make a Google Calendar when
Hmm.
I'm writing a book, and so I'll have it like sometimes it's not always over the right year that the book's set in though,
Hmm.
so it's hard to say. But I would say, um, based on other dates I had in there, I would say it's probably if the year they got it. I said it's a Saturday, and I feel like if the year that they got married was the same year that I set the Google Calendar in, that I would say their anniversary is July 10th.
Oh my gosh, it's coming up.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that was the date that like, yeah, I was like 10th or 17th, but let's go 10th. Let's just say the 10th, and because that gives them lots of time to do the camps and then have their honeymoon and then get ready for
Right.
training and everything. So
Right.
I think
Yeah,
the 10th.
that makes sense.
And like
Perfect. We'll all
like
remember that now.
we're seeing NHL players getting married like now.
Hmm.
Like the NHL wedding season has started, so I feel like
So
July
it makes
10th
sense.
isn't too early. It
Yeah,
works.
that's cool. Um, okay. I think this was one of the questions that I had like five different versions of. But how do you picture your couples after the end of the long game? Just general strokes.
I'll do general because yeah, I'm trying to keep it open that I might write some stuff with
Right.
these characters,
Which
but
is another
generally,
question coming up.
general.
So.
I think Scott's like doing a lot of activism, and I think Kip's right by his side. I think Kip's really into that, and I think that they're busy, like they're booked and busy. I think like anytime they need, like a gay athlete's opinion on something that is top of the
That's him.
list, he's doing lots of stuff. And if he can't do it, then Kip does. Like I feel like Kip's almost as famous. And yeah, I mean Shane and Ilya I think are, still they're still playing hockey and they're
Right.
like I think Ilya's just really happy to have a home and a family, and Shane's really psyched to be playing with Ilya because I think that's really Shane's big dream,
Yeah.
um,
Oh.
is to win together
Hmm.
instead of competing. Um, I think Ryan and Fabian are like the most solid couple of all of
Right.
my couples. Like I think they're like the best couple. Yeah, I think I pictured Ryan, you know, figuring out something to do with sports and kids that, makes him happy.
Yeah.
And Fabian, I think just his star keeps rising and rising. I picture him getting to like let's say like Orville Peck levels eventually.
Okay.
Like let's say about there. Like
Mid-level.
pretty good. Like
Yeah.
really good, honestly. Like, like he starts, yeah, he just hustles and he gets there. And yeah, so he becomes the main breadwinner eventually. Um, yeah, Kyle, Kyle and Eric, I always joke like I give them 6 months. Like, I don't see them
Definitely the least solid
but
couple.
I also
Yeah.
think, like, to me, Eric and Kyle have like a completely non-monogamous relationship, and or at least they're really into like bringing in
Yeah.
other people.
I could see that.
I think they're just really laid back and having fun.
Hmm.
Who's left? Oh, Troy and Harris.
Troy and Harris.
Troy and Harris,
Yeah.
they're great. Keeping it professional at work, but I picture Troy just being himself for the first time
Right.
ever, really. Like because I think Troy's very, very funny and he's always used that as kind of a weapon in the past, but now he's like just able to be
Embracing it. Yeah.
fully himself,
Yeah.
and he's happy. And that's, I really do want to write more of him because role model cuts off so
Hmm.
abruptly. And we could pick it up a bit in the long game, but I want to see more. I want to see more of Troy, like after that whole hockey season, just becoming himself.
Love that. Um, okay. This is more of a writing question. Oh, hold on. I skipped something. Where was I?
Is it about the fire hydrant again?
No, not about the fire hydrant again. Who's your favorite character in the Game Changers universe? I know this is so hard for an author to answer.
Me. I mean, I do like Troy, but I'm pretty into Ryan.
He's
I
a
like
sweetheart.
Ryan.
Yeah, I loved
He's
him,
just
and
nice. He's fun to write.
yeah.
Fun to be in his head. But I mean, yeah, obviously Shane and Ilya are special. I mean, they're the ones that still haven't left me, so maybe they never will.
Um, do you have this is favorite line from each of the guys, but I'm not gonna make you do that. Just what's like your favorite line you've written in the
Oh,
series?
wow. The whole thing?
The whole or just give me
Uh,
a selection.
I don't know. I really enjoy, just off the top of my head, I really enjoy every time Ilya's interacting with Hayden. Like,
Yes.
That's
This make me
some
laugh out
of my
loud.
favorite stuff. Like, I like it when Hayden's, yelling at him and Ilya says like, "Oh no, how am I going to impress Montreal's 15th best player?" like, I don't know, everything bitchy that Ilya says
Yeah.
to him is really good. Um, like I just love writing those scenes. I feel like, yeah, everything Ilya also said to, like, when he showed up at the Kingfisher and common goal
Yes.
and just weirded everyone out. Like, I don't know, all of that was fun to write. I can only think of scenes. I don't know if I can think of lines.
That's fine. I can't remember. I'm not a quote person myself. I have to like look stuff up every time.
Everything Ilya's ever said is my favorite
Everything Elliot's ever
line.
said. Perfect. Nailed it. Um, okay, you alluded to this a little bit. Would you ever do a novella or more short stories about any of your couples?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm definitely writing stuff with them. I've been playing around. I have a notebook full of
Hmm.
ideas. Just trying to figure out the best way to tell more of the story. So yeah, I'm working on some things, and if any of them are any good, I'll I'll share them.
We'll take anything. Um, okay, this is my last directly book related question. When you look back at Shane and Ilya's story as a writer, what were you most proud of in telling their story? What would you write differently, leave out, or add?
I'll start with the bad first, because that's
Okay, all
easier
right,
for me to
start
answer.
there.
I think with Heated Rivalry, the thing I regret the most, I was overly concerned when I wrote that book and Tough Guy, especially about length.
Mhm.
For some reason, I just had it in my head that I had to get these books down to like a super tight, like definitely no more than like, 85, 90,000 words. I don't know why. So like oddly, Heated Rivalry ended up being one of like my second shortest book, and Tough Guy is the shortest one, even though Heated Rivalry spans this long timeline,
Right.
and has 400 sex scenes in it. But it's like it's. I wish that I'd made the part two longer. Part two was like, I guess, there was like the Olympics and there was the Vegas scene.
Mhm.
Um, but that's about it. And I kind of wish like I just like pulled that like pulled that one a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And one of the things I wish I'd done with that part was I wish there was more of David and Yuna
Mm,
in the middle section of the book. They're there at the beginning, they're there at the end. They're not in the
right.
middle. So I think that was a mistake, and it bothers me. Um, but as far as I don't know what I'm proud of. I'm I just it's nice to have made characters in books that make people happy, and especially when things are bad.
Yeah.
So, just knowing that these characters make people happy is a really good feeling.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's very influential. Okay. I have a few show questions that you said you could possibly answer
I'll do it. Yeah.
as best as you can.
Yeah, I think I can sort of answer some of them.
Okay.
I can
All
talk
right.
about my personal,
Yes.
like experience and feelings about some things. Yeah.
Okay. We'll take whatever you can get.
Yeah. I'll do my best.
Um, all right. First up, when did you first learn that Heated Rivalry was going to be made into a show?
I first learned in August 2023.
Crazy.
And
I
I've been
can't believe you
keeping it a
kept that
secret
secret.
since then. So if I have said too much on the internet since it's been announced, it's because I've basically exploded.
Totally
um,
fair.
yeah, it was, yeah, it's been a hard secret to keep, but it was just, I got an Instagram DM from Jacob Tierney, and he just told me he was a fan of the books, and I was like, great, and I was like, that's so nice. And then I was about to make a joke about like, would you like to make it into a movie? And then he asked if, yeah, if the books had been optioned yet, and I said no. And he's like, would you be open to that? I was like, yeah. I'd be
Sure.
open to that.
And this was an
And then we
Instagram
had like
DM.
all, yeah, Instagram DM. That's why I haven't deleted it. It might happen again.
You got to keep it
Um,
forever.
yeah, so I don't know. We had a Zoom call after that, and it was like so good. Like it was it's like listening to somebody just absolutely 100% get the books, like get the characters, get everything that was important about the story. And again, you don't really expect when you write these kinds of books to have your writing like respected on this level, especially, you know, like outside the romance like kind of
Right.
world, I guess.
It's a
Um, yeah,
niche for sure.
so because there's some places where I love talking about my books, and there's other places where I'd rather die than have to tell somebody about my books. So, um,
That too.
but anyway, yeah. So basically, yeah, right from that Zoom call, which did happen, I think it was also in August of 2023. Like it was like the best possible like I guess pitch for this show, like
Right.
as an author that you could possibly get. Like just like everything sounded so great, and he had so many ideas already. Like
He'd been
so,
thinking about it.
yeah, and then um yeah, so like it was cool on the Zoom call, but as soon as it was over, I was like, like, uh, but yeah, and then yeah, just slowly, things are slow in film as well as publishing, so
Right.
there'd be periods where nothing would happen, but then it started happening, and then everything's been pretty quick since it started filming and all of that. So I'm so glad that people know about it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But
We can talk about it.
it's really been a dream. Like I don't think everybody has the experience that I've had when they
Hmm.
get their books adapted, and I feel really, really lucky.
That's great. Um, okay. So somebody wanted to know, how does it work selling the rights for the adaptation? And a lot of people wanted to know about the scripts, and I know you mentioned something in
Yeah,
your
well,
comments
I'll
about that.
I'll just say, like, I didn't write the scripts. Jacob wrote all of the scripts, which again, I mean, also a dream to have somebody write, direct, and produce
Right.
as a fan. Like, like that's I mean, yeah, that's more than you could possibly hope for.
Right.
So I never had any negative feelings about not writing the scripts because A, I don't know how to write a screenplay, and B, he's very good at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I knew it was in good hands, and it was. But as far as the question about the adaptation, like like, was it how it gets sold? Was that the question?
Yeah.
Or
How it
how it?
gets sold,
Yeah,
like
so
rights for TV and stuff.
um, because I had the rights, it was like just yeah, through my agent and lawyers and all of that. There's lots of negotiating and that I'm not a part of that lawyers do. Then I sign a thing and it's sold. and then so basically it got sold to like a production company, and then production company sells it to a network,
Hmm.
which is Crave here in Canada.
Right.
At least that's how it happened for this. I think you can possibly sell directly to, say,
Hmm.
Prime or Netflix or something like that, but that's not what happened for this one.
Um, so how involved were you in the show in general?
In general, like, I'm not very involved in the
Yeah.
show because, again, I don't know anything about filmmaking.
Right.
So I basically what I was, I'm a consulting producer,
Hmm.
which
Are you going to be
basically
on
means,
the credits?
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Oh, that's fun. Sorry, that was exciting.
Yeah, I think that's what that
Yeah.
means. And then, yeah, it's basically like, I read the scripts,
Hmm.
I in advance, obviously, and, was kept informed of things that were happening and, casting decisions and stuff. So it wasn't like, I'm not like involved like in a really hands-on way, but like, I guess, you know, kept in the loop, and, I got to visit the set a few times and, stuff like that.
Um, Okay. Did you have any reservations about the adaptation? Were you ever concerned that they would go in a direction that didn't align with your vision for the characters? Anything
No,
like that?
like I said, it was, I mean, yeah, it's been a dream. No. I knew it was in good hands like immediately.
That's awesome.
Never worried about it. And especially after, after reading, I mean, I got sent like one early draft of the first episode
Hmm.
script like a long time ago. And as soon as I read it, I was just like, I mean, I was like, well, this is perfect.
Done.
So,
Good.
yeah,
That's
like
awesome. Yeah.
it was surreal reading. I mean, obviously it's surreal reading, I guess, someone else kind of writing your characters in a
Right.
way, but it's like it was just surreal how good it was too. Like, I don't know. I could see it all,
Right,
like,
right.
and that was really really exciting.
That's cool. Um, okay, I'm looking. I have a whole page of questions that are marked out just for everybody who's
Sorry,
on this call.
everyone.
No, it's
I
okay.
will say, if it makes you feel better, all of those questions will be answered
Okay, good to
eventually.
so anyone who asks questions about the show, they're coming.
But yeah, a lot of the questions were about like, and I do get questions like, will this scene be in there? Will that scene be in there? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? And I'll just blanket say really vaguely, because I've said it before already. So um, it's very loyal. So don't worry too much about like what's going to be in there and what's not, because it is. I think it's like I'm touched by how loyal it
I love
is. So
that. I
yeah,
love
like
that.
so don't worry about this
Something important.
this important scene being in there or not.
All right. When you met Connor and Hudson, what was the first thing you told them about playing Shane and Ilya?
Oh, I didn't tell them anything.
You're like, do your
I think
thing.
when I met them, I was just so blown away by how much I mean, they were in character, obviously.
Right.
I was on set. So, I was just, kind of like, yeah, just, it was really surreal and awesome just seeing them as those characters. But the main thing I talked to both of them about was the fandom, I guess. I was like,
Hmm.
I was like, are you guys like familiar
Prepared
with
for
the
this.
fandom? I mean, I was especially Connor, because I was like people are gonna lose their minds. Like, like I was like, people really like Ilya. Like, but yeah, trying to also do it in a way that wasn't hopefully worrying.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
Concerning.
like I wasn't trying to be like people really care about these characters, so but like
But people really care about these
but
characters.
people yeah, I was like so yeah, it was kind of just that was what I could bring to the table.
Right.
That's the part I know is how people have related to the characters through the books.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's that's what I talked about mostly with them. They're both really
Um,
nice.
yeah, yeah. They seemed like it. Um, did the cast read the books?
um, Hudson and Connor read Heated Rivalry.
Hmm. Anyone, do you know if anyone else did or
I don't know.
don't know? You just know they did. And they didn't
Yeah,
read, they haven't read The Long Game yet.
no,
No.
I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
know. I think they just read Heated Rivalry
Yeah.
for now, for no
Um,
reason at all. There's no reason for that.
just for the vibes.
Has nothing to
Um,
do with the plot of the show.
okay, this was one you didn't mark out, and I wasn't sure whether you were going to answer this or not. But how and when can we watch the show in the
Oh yeah,
U.S. or
yeah. I didn't mark it out just
internationally?
so I could say this. We don't know yet, but I would say be patient. Like, obviously, it's the goal of everyone to like have this in like every country
Yes,
on earth if
yes,
possible. But yeah, definitely the United States is an important market. So I mean, yeah, that's it's the goal for sure.
right. Otherwise,
So
we're planning trips to Canada to watch the show. So
I know lots of people are like, I've gotten some pretty angry people that, about this, but it's like we don't even have a Canadian date yet. So
yeah,
like
right.
let's just
Chill.
like there's no
Things are
trailer. Like
happening.
let's just like you don't have to move to Canada yet. I mean you can. Well, we'd love to
Oh
have
no,
you,
we're
but
we're talking about renting a lake
oh
house
yeah,
and
yeah,
like doing a whole thing.
that's a
So
good way to do it.
yeah,
But I
I
mean,
kind of
yeah,
want to do that
I wouldn't
anyways.
worry about it. I'm
Oh,
optimistic.
and I think you marked this question out later, so I'm not gonna ask it. You couldn't answer how long the episodes were gonna
Oh
be.
wait, I can.
Oh, you can.
Apparently, it was
Okay.
in the press release.
Oh, yes, yes. This was
The
we
episodes,
talked
there's
about this
six
one.
episodes and they're about an hour each. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. Those were all of the show questions that I could ask.
Sorry,
Some
everyone.
that was some good info. Now I have some author questions, just kind of about you and things like
Yeah,
that.
I can
Are
answer
you,
those.
yeah, are you a plotter or a pantser? If anyone doesn't know, like, do you
Oh yeah,
outline and like know where you're going, or do you just like write the story?
yeah, definitely a
A
pantser, like
pantser.
1,000%. Like I do not outline. My outlines are terrible. When I have to send a synopsis to a publisher way ahead of time, it is garbage, and I usually don't even look at it again and do not follow it, and they get a completely different book. I just make up some garbage that covers 4 pages, and then like I'm terrible at plotting and outlining. So yeah, I just start with characters, and I have like a vague idea of the story, and usually the story goes in a completely different direction from how I started, and I think it's fun that
Yeah,
way. I like the characters. I like the characters to take me on a journey.
that's fun. How long does it take you to write a book?
Uh, Most of a year usually. I'm pretty
Okay.
slow.
Yeah.
Like usually it's like I'll write a bit and then I walk away and then I'll write a little bit more and then and then if I get myself on a deadline then it's like really cramming at the end. But um, and then the editing. But yeah, I like, there's a reason I don't have books coming out several times a year.
Um, all right. Where do you usually write? What's your ideal writing setup?
Uh, I usually write in my basement, which is not my ideal writing setup, but I'm trying to make it nicer down there. I'm trying to make it into more of like a little like cozy library writing area, but it's a slow process. Ideally, I would have a room with windows.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's not so bad down there. At least it's quiet. But I used to write just in the middle in my living room, and that was terrible. Like it was just like the central, like yeah, it was like everyone just walking by. It's also where you know, I don't know. It's just where my husband's computer used to be set up also in the living room.
Oh,
So sometimes we'd just be like kind of back to back working, and it was just terrible. Our house was kind of small. We don't have like a spare room to be used as an office, but yeah, I used to write at the dining room table, but that was terrible for my back. And just, we tried different things, but yeah, I would love to. I guess my dream would be to someday have like a proper writing studio or office.
yeah. Um, let's see. What's a plot point in one of your stories that changed the most before the final draft?
Um, like I said, if we're going by my synopsis, nasty.
Nothing.
Um, you know what? A big one, the biggest one I can think of was Tough Guy because that book was going to be quite different. Um, for like a long time, it was going to be that something happened to like Fabian's apartment. For whatever reason, Fabian ends up moving in with Ryan for a bit because he needs somewhere to stay. So
Hmm.
it was kind of uh like symmetry with like them living together as teenagers, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But I just like abandoned it because it was I felt like first of all there were like maybe shades of Kip and Scott that
Hmm.
way that I didn't want to do it again, and also I just felt like Fabian's life was what was interesting. Like it should be Ryan going into Fabian's
Hmm.
life, not the other way around. So and also there was a major plot point that I took out where Fabian was also the victim of yeah, being violently attacked once on the streets of Toronto by at least by yeah, several men, and at least one of them were wearing like Toronto hockey like
Oh,
stuff. Like they'd obviously maybe just been to a game or something, so he had this
yeah.
kind of like trauma about the team in general. Um, but I cut it because it's too sad.
Yeah.
And also, I felt like his hockey stuff, I just wanted it to be kind of like lighter and
Hmm.
like it was already enough with his parents taking in hockey players and liking them
Right.
better than him and all that stuff. So,
He had enough.
I didn't need to like come up with like more reasons for him to hate hockey. So I kept it lighter.
Right. Um, is there another sport that you'd want to write a book about?
No. I think I'd like to write about
I
no sports.
was gonna say, would you ever write a romance without hockey?
Yeah, I would like to. I've had ideas, but um, yeah, I don't mind continuing to write hockey for now because I do enjoy it, and yeah, it's what I know. But there are some things I would like to write about, but they would require maybe me having time to do a little more research than I would normally have to do for a hockey book. So yeah, I'd like to be able to have the time to do that.
Um, okay, this was an interesting question. Now that the show is coming, have you had any interesting conversations with neighbors or like people you know in real life about the fact that you have a book that's getting a TV show?
Yeah, I think that there'll be more of that over the next bunch of months, and especially and then when the show's out, whenever that happens, like, that's, you know, more people are going to know about it then, and so I expect, yeah, there'll be more
Right.
conversations, but for now, like, I think, yeah, I definitely have heard, I've definitely heard from some acquaintances that are like old, like people I haven't heard from in a while.
Right.
Um, And I think generally I'll just say that been I haven't gotten a lot of attention or any attention really in my hometown.
Hmm.
So um I think, yeah, I'm starting to a little bit. So like a show is like more interesting to local news and stuff
Ah,
than a
yeah.
book. So um yeah, I think there'll be more of that as it gets closer to the release of the
Hmm.
show and more people are talking about it. But yeah, I mean, all of my friends and family are proud and excited, and
Yeah.
yeah, still kind of in disbelief. Like, it's just like a weird thing that we're like. I mean, I still don't believe it, so
Yeah, it's just
I'll
wild.
believe it